So I teach 3 literacy classes at Hamline University in St. Paul, Minnesota, and it's a program that provides newly licensed teachers with their master's degrees. So they take these 3 courses, and they're all based on different literacy practices. So the first one is all about reading. The second one is in conjunction with the Summer Literacy Institute that the university holds, and the third one is about writing, and specifically about teaching these new teachers how to move themselves forward as writers, how to move their students forward as writers, and then focusing in on the professional and scholarly writing. And as a part of that writing course, I have adapted the Google Suite of tools as a way to take the course fully online. So it's a completely paperless course, but we do meet face-to-face for every session. And so what I do with the Google Suite of tools is I do a lot of flipped instruction, where I've created a Google site where I house all of the documents, resources, videos, text, tools, templates, pictures, things like that. And the students have assignments each day before class to go on there and do a different set of activities, and then bring with them that learning to class so that we can use the class time to have good substantive conversations, discussions, and then do a variety of different activities with them already having the information that they need to be able to participate. So on this Google site, I have, like I said, the documents and resources they need. I also have the syllabus with live links that I've created using the Google Docs tool so that they can link right to the session agenda for the evening. They've got the course calendar there. Any handouts that I'm using or presentations or templates that they might be able to use, they're all live linked right on the syllabus and on the agenda so that during class they're just a click away from all of the resources they need. Students bring their devices to class, so they either bring a tablet or a laptop. Sometimes they just use their phones so that they can quickly access everything that's right in front of them. And then I've done this in such a way so that it's housed permanently so that the students still have access to all of those course resources and materials well after the course officially ends. So as far as the Google Suite of Tools goes, we've used Google Sites to sort of create the course, and then we've used Google Docs, Google Spreadsheets, I've used forms, I've used the presentations, I've used the drawing tool, and then I've developed a set of shared resource folders for the students to use sort of as a Dropbox where they can put in resources and information that they've found that they'd like to share with me and one another. The students are also this semester using the Google Docs and presentation tools as a way to showcase their learning. They're creating a modified grounded theory and conceptual framework about what writing to learn means, and so they're able to collaborate with one another when they're not in the same room because they have access to the same Google Docs and same Google presentation. So that, for me, I've found that to be a really great way for students to be flexible but still be able to collaborate. And I think the most fun that we've had so far this semester in this writing class was that I developed a digital breakout for my students to participate in as a way to learn about the Writer's Workshop. So a digital breakout, if you're not familiar with that concept, is it's a Google site and with an embedded Google form that's locked, and within the form there are usually 5 to 6, sometimes more, different keys that the students need to find to be able to unlock the form. And once they've unlocked all of the keys or all of the locks, then they're able to move on to the next step in the activity. And so for this one, I embedded hints and tips and tricks for them to be able to find the keys to unlock that form within the resources for learning. So I embedded videos that they needed to watch so that they could find the clue to open the lock. I embedded resources that they needed to go on Twitter and do a search for a specific author on Twitter and find the key to open that lock, things like that. And so that was not only was that a lot of fun, but it was a unique way to use the Google Suite of tools to help them do some collaborative learning. And the best part was at the end, it's a timed activity, and so at the end of the 45 minutes, all of the teams were able to break out and unlock all of the locks, but then we did a debrief. And so we used the Google presentation for them to be able to go through a set of questions together and talk about how they were able to be collaborative to figure out all of the different keys unlock their form. I think the reason that I've chosen to use the Google suite of tools really is because of the connectivity and then the ability for the students to be able to collaborate outside of class. As I said, I do a lot of flipped instruction so that we can really use the class time to be purposeful with our high quality discussions and activities. So they're doing a lot of the learning of content outside of class and then coming in and using that content together. And I feel like that really provides more of a different level of thinking for them, a different level of learning that they're able to do because they can use that time when they're physically together to learn from one another. It's also a really convenient way to link all of the resources. They have easy access. It's a very easy way to organize all of their tools and materials that they need. And then I think probably the best part is that I'm modeling what they will be doing in their classrooms. In the school district where I work in Bloomington, Minnesota, they utilize the Bloomington suite of tools in our classrooms K-12. And so I'm using these tools to show these new teachers what they'll be able to do once they get into classrooms of their own. I think the most useful components that I've used of the Google Suite as far as these courses that I'm teaching at Hamline University go would be the Google site and then the linked shared folders. And that's simply because it was a very easy way to organize everything. In one semester, there are so many documents and resources and materials that I'm providing to my students, and this just provides a really nice place to house all of them with those interactive links that they can click on, and then also opening up those folders so that they're shared with one another and they can access them anytime they want to, even once the class is over. Another component that I found to be really useful is in this final course, the third course in the series, they're working on their final critical reflection paper. It's the capstone to the whole master's program. And I've had the students using Google Docs to be writing this, more professional style paper, because then I can go in and see them working and I can be actively helping them edit and revise, helping them with formatting, helping them with content. And so I've been able to conference with my students outside of class because we're able to access this shared document. And I found that to be very helpful for them and also for me because I am able to use what I'm seeing as a way to guide what I do during class for the parts of class where I'm working on instructing that kind of scholarly writing work. And then finally, I think, the students have been creating this, their projects together, I'm blanking on the words, their grounded theory, their conceptual framework that they're creating together. And they're doing that using a Google form and then also the Google presentation. And so again, these are busy teachers, brand new teachers, and so they're under a lot of stress and a lot of pressure, and they're able to continue to collaborate on this project without needing to meet with one another. So they're able to do it from their own homes because they can still collaborate on this shared form and this shared presentation. A good way for someone who's interested in using these tools to start would be to just play. Get on Google and give it a go. I think, for me as a teacher, I spent many years in the K-12 system teaching as well, and that I always found playing to be the very best way for students to learn anything brand new. So playing in a way that is stress-free, that is just fun, that's just meant to really learn kind of some of the ins and outs. And then the other piece to that is to play with other people. So finding people who maybe know a little bit more than you, or people who don't mind pressing lots of buttons and seeing what happens, and who really do enjoy just kind of figuring out something new and then collaborating with them and learning from them. But in addition to that, if a little bit more sort of formal learning is desired, Google does offer free training with all of its tools. So that's always an option. And then one of my favorite techniques too is to just search YouTube for a video of someone who is doing, is modeling whatever it is that you want to do. There are lots of videos out there that exist, so that if you don't feel as comfortable trying it out on your own, you can at least watch a model of someone who knows how to do it. And then finally, the last piece of advice I have for a teacher who's not quite familiar with the Google suite of tools would be to just find examples of what already exist and then use those as a guide. There are lots of teachers out there who are willing to share what they've already done, so there's no sense in reinventing the wheel. And so putting yourself in touch using the internet with someone who could be a world away, who's doing some of the same things as you want to do, and collaborating with them across the globe. Some of them did. Some of them are using the tools already in their classrooms. Some of them have just found, Google Docs to be a great way to, keep their documents already. But some of them didn't have any experience with it. And so this course that I'm teaching right now is the third in this series. And I did something very similar for the first course this past spring, where I housed it mainly online using a Google site. But I had some students who still preferred to have the paper copy, the hard copy of all of the resources and all the materials in that class. But as we continued to use the tools, they became more and more familiar with them, so that by now in this last class, so this is about 10 months later, they're all feeling confident enough to use the tools and not needing the hard copies anymore. I haven't tried Google Classroom yet. That's the next one that I need to play with to give that a try. And I think maybe I'll be teaching a new class this spring, starting in February. And I think that's my next step, is to spend some time over the winter break here playing with Google Classroom and getting that set up for my students. It's called a Breakout, digital Breakout. And I learned about it, about a year ago in my school district where I teach in Bloomington. And I thought it was so much fun that I came home and I built one for my family. And so basically you just build a Google site and you embed a Google form and have, 4 or 5, sometimes more, of these different passcodes to be able to unlock the form. And then on the site, it's just one page on the site. You link or add text or add video or pictures that have clues. And so the whole object is for a group of students to work together or in pairs to figure it out, to find all of the clues and then unlock each of the keys. It's a lot of fun. I made one for my family, and then I made one to present at the Hamlin Summer Literacy Institute last summer. That was the first time I presented for real. And then I made this one for the class this fall, and they really had a lot of fun with it. And again, as I said, the best part of it is the collaborative piece. There's a lot of learning that they have to do because of the way that I designed it. They had to watch through an entire video and really think critically about what they saw to be able to figure out what the word was that I was looking for to be able to unlock that lock. But then there were some other pieces too. In the course, we've really been focusing in on doing micro writing. And so I've had them exploring Twitter, and I developed a Twitter chat for them to do. None of them had ever participated in a Twitter chat, and so I developed one for them as a way to play and practice. And then I had them participate in a Twitter chat that was a real one, so done by the Teachers College, the Reading and Writing Project, and so with other educators, with other literacy professionals. And so using Twitter that way. So I embedded one of the clues in the digital breakout was for them to go on Twitter and do a little hunting for some authors and some resources there so that they could answer my question and unlock the key. They could have worked alone if they wanted to, but so part of what I did with this too, because some of them had experienced breakouts before and some of them hadn't, and so I tried to make each of the locks progressively more challenging. So the first one was pretty easy so that they could get the hang of what they were doing and find a little success. And the next one was a little bit harder, and they got progressively harder. And so I had a few that started out working alone but got stuck and then ended up working with another group. And I also had a couple of groups who were working independently and then realized that one group got one and one group got the other, and so they were sort of trading information with one another on how they were able to find the answers. So they could have tried to work alone, but most of them, they opted to work together because it was just much easier to be collaborative that way. And at the end, probably the most important piece of it was that that debrief where, I asked them questions about what really went well with your group. How did you communicate with one another? How would you do things differently next time? What was your part in the group? What were your group mates' contributions? Things like that. And for them to really think about how they used their collaborative and their critical thinking skills to be able to do the learning and then be successful in unlocking the keys.